Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Roca. I'm from the UPC. I work in the Institute for Sustainability Science and Technology, and I will try to explain how we try to improve the citizens' life. This is a Horizon 2020 project with a budget of almost 3 million euros. We are 14 partners from 6 countries. And our objective, can you hear me down there? Okay, so our objective is to foster a sustainable, integrated, and user-friendly digital travel ecosystem that improves accessibility, social inclusion, and quality of life for all citizens. So this is what all of us want, of course. But our focus in Dignity is the user needs. And especially we focus on the vulnerable people. So our specific objectives are to understand the full range of factors that can lead to disparities in the uptake of digitalized mobility solutions. We also aim to analyze the digital transition, both from user and provider's perspective. And we want to bring together local institutions, market players, transport operators, and other stakeholders to bridge the digital gap by using inclusive, co-creation methodologies and foresight scenarios methodologies. And our main, let's say, aim or propose is to design, test, and validate a dignity approach. I will talk about this dignity approach in a few minutes. But let's say some words on the context. We are in a process, as you know, of digitalization in the different sectors, especially in the transport. This is a new paradigm that can help many users, many passengers to be more efficient in their travels. Because you know that there are many smart applications. We are here these days. We can have innovation on location-based digital services, vehicle sharing systems, ticketing and payment. But this process can create a wider digital gap in people that are already suffering from exclusion, from social exclusion. People that are at risk of exclusion are suffering from poverty and other types of social problems. So we want to try to dive into this problem and contribute to reduce the digital divide. So our dignity approach, that is our main contribution to the knowledge, is a multi-step process, and it's based on these 3 main steps. First, the framing the digital gap. We want to analyze who is at risk of being excluded and why. The second step is bridging the digital gap by applying inclusive design approaches and by testing and applying these methodologies at local level. We want to bridge this digital gap and reduce the divide among the most vulnerable people. And then we have to validate the approach. We have to evaluate the outcomes of this approach and to check or to see its scalability and if it can be reproduced in other places. We work under these 3 levels, the micro, the meso, and the macro. The macro level is related with the institutional framework and the policies. The meso level is more related with the products and the service providers. And the micro level is related to the user, the individual user needs and citizens' needs. So we also, as in many other European projects, we work in 4 pilot areas in Barcelona metropolitan area, in Tilburg, in Belgium, in Ancona, and in Flanders. Each of the pilots has its own specificity. For instance, in Barcelona, we focus in carpooling in industrial areas and also in responsive bus in industrial areas, focus on low income and gender perspectives. In Tilburg, bike sharing system addressed to elderly and low income. In Ancona, it's more oriented to disabled people and multimodal APPs. And in Flanders, how to improve a mass system to make it more inclusive. Well, some of the outputs of the project are this learning community. You can go into the website and sign in to this learning platform. The objective is to connect the different stakeholders and target groups to these, that are concerned with this issue. Try to create a place for networking, for co-creating knowledge, and to discuss and to share experiences in this community, learning community. We also expect to design an innovative decision support tool that we will call it Toolkit for digital divide. And we will provide next year recommendations for policymakers to formulate long-term policies. And finally, of course, we want to contribute to this reduction of the digital gap in the pilots. I want to use my last minutes to show you some results from the metropolitan area of Barcelona. We conduct a survey 1 year ago, addressed to the residents. We collect 600 surveys, questionnaires. Here you can see, well, we organize or distribute the survey according to quotas. If you want more information on that, please ask me. And some of the results we got were these interesting figures. For instance, in the Barcelona metropolitan area, there is a 7% of the whole population without access to the internet, and 50% don't have smartphones. That means around more than 200,000 people don't have access to internet. So this is a big concern. We also saw that 40% of the whole population have never used internet on a smartphone. So that may be a limitation if we are thinking in traveling and moving around, because we mainly use the smartphone for that. And we saw also that from this group, there is an aggravating percentage in elderly and individuals with low education levels, that this percentage rises up to 37% or 27%, depending on the group. So we have seen that some of the aggravating factors of exclusion are low or the education and the age, more than for instance, the gender that we haven't seen that it's significant in this survey. More interesting figures. We have seen that 40% of the whole population feels low confident to plan an familiar local public transport journey using an internet or an APP. And again, it reaches up to 40% in elderly people and 25% in people with low education levels. So I think that can make us think. Other interesting issues are that there is a very low uptake of digital transportation services. We have seen that more than 90% have never used car sharing, carpooling, or scooter motorbike hire. So, this is a very quick overview of our project. Please don't hesitate to contact me or to visit the website for more information.